Smears are an important tool in our identification of microorganisms. Microscopic examination is one of the first things you have to do when you identify microorganisms. There are two basic types of preparations that can be used microscopically, the wet mount or the smear. Now, wet mounts are particularly good for viewing living cells. To make these, you simply mix cells in a drop of water, put a cover slip on, and view them. Most stains kill microorganisms, so it's very difficult to see because there's not a lot of contrast between the microorganism and the background. Also, wet mounts are temporary. Smears are thin preparations of cells that are allowed to air dry on the slide. They're then fixed to the slide using either heat or chemicals. They can then be stained for viewing. These kinds of preparations are more permanent. To prepare a smear, you'll need a clean glass slide and some tap water. Tap water is not sterile, but there are not enough organisms in tap water to interfere with anything you'll see on the smear. You start by getting a loop full of tap water from your water bottle. You will sterilize your loop, and even though you're going into non-sterile water, you don't want to take any more microorganisms in there than you have to. You will then place that loop full of water on a clean glass slide. Once again, sterilize your loop and simply touch an organism that you want to stain. Don't scrape, don't pull up a visible mass of cells. You'll think there's nothing on your loop, but they do call this microbiology for a reason. You will then mix the cells on the loop in the drop of water on the slide. Spread the drop of water out over the slide. You're only going to put one thing on this slide, and the thinner you make this drop of water, the faster it will air dry. You need to allow the smear to air dry naturally. Don't blow on it, don't wave it around in the room. Both of those are ways to introduce organisms into the atmosphere. When you finish, the smear should be just faintly milky. You don't want too thick a smear, and it should be as uniform as possible. We're going to use heat fixation, so you're going to pass the slide over the top of a Bacticinerator that's on and hot, about 10 times. Heat fixing will help attach the bacteria to the slide. It will alter the cells for staining, and it will kill most cells, certainly the cells we're using in this lab, so the slides are not going to be infectious. Once you've heat fixed a slide, you can store it pretty much indefinitely until you're ready to stain it.